Attorney Drew Baladad, Mr. George Barcelon, welcome to the Manila Times. It's nice seeing you again, and congratulations on your recent appointment as MAP President.
Thank you.
I just, wanted to get your pulse on what's going on in the country. I mean, what's your outlook for 2023? Are you optimistic? You're not optimistic, or you're something else? Maybe, Attorney, we'll start with you. May I call you Attorney Dick? No?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes. Well, I already said we are cautiously optimistic for 2023, and I think I said this during the induction.
Your induction.
Yeah, during the induction of the MAP. And the reason for that is I think we are not yet through very much with the COVID. I think there is now again a new, what do you call that? Is a new
variant?
Variant. And until we are done with that, I think we just have to be cautious about this. But we are very optimistic because it looks like everything is moving.
Okay.
And last year, actually, we had made a survey of our members, a quick survey of their concerns of business. And listed there as top 10 would be the same items that were taken in the PDP, Philippine Development Plan. And we are happy with that because we also gave them an 8-point recommendation of what we have recommended to the incoming administration, and that is based on the quick survey that we
Of your members, yeah.
have gotten from our members. And I was reading the PDP report, or what do you call that, plan yesterday, and it looks like
Similar.
most of those that we have given as recommendations, they were picked up.
Oh, good.
So it's a good sign that they are considering, I think, the value of the private sector in terms of partnering with them for this economy and for this country to go forward.
Okay, Mr. Barcelon, what's PCCI's take?
I mean, taking off from the data that was released on the quarterly growth and on the annual growth.
The 7.6%
for the whole year and 7.2 for the last quarter. You can see that, of course, you may say that there's a pent-up demand. That's why, and coming from a lower base. But nevertheless, you have to look at this realistically, because you're comparing ourselves also with the other ASEAN countries.
Okay.
They went through the same COVID pandemic, slowed down, but we came out ahead.
Okay.
So that's something that we should realize, that something is good for us, going well for us. Businessmen are usually optimistic.
Okay. That's the nature of businessmen.
That's the nature of businessmen, optimistic. But like anything else, you worry of what are the headwinds.
Right.
So that being said, then you add an adverb, guarded optimism.
So cautiously optimistic and guardedly optimistic.
In addition to what George said, I was talking yesterday to the country head of World Bank, Indiame Diop.
Yeah, Dr. Diop.
Saying that the Philippines is actually in a very sweet spot now.
Okay.
Because we are delayed compared to our other countries, the other neighboring countries, and therefore there is this room for catching up.
Okay.
And there is this value of what he calls the value of the young generation that are
the demographic
joining
sweet spot,
the demographic
sweet spot,
that they're calling it.
Okay.
Because in other countries, what he's saying is that it is now going down. So he's saying it's very interesting to be in the Philippines these days.
The other country, of course, you look at Europe in particular.
Europe.
Yung average age, they're more like in the 40s and mid-40s. And here,
25, I think.
We're 25. We're almost the same as Indonesia. And then we have a pretty good population base. So those are all upside for us.
Okay.
And then, of course, with these geopolitical issues, which if we manage to project ourselves well, we should be able to benefit.
I'll get back to that in a minute. But I think the last time we talked, you're saying that the other countries in the regions were also moving, right? So it's not just enough for us to do well, but we also have to do better than the others who are also trying to compete for the same.
Yes, really. What I see when I participate in the other ASEAN conference, being a representative of the Business Advisory Council, I can see that some of them, many of the countries have done their homework in the last decade. Okay. They have addressed their infrastructure issue, road, telco, and energy. And most importantly, also their education.
Okay.
Some of them have done very well. Like so Vietnam, Indonesia has picked up. On our side, there's a lot going because one of the advantages, of course, we have a good command of English. And I brought this out during the NEDA Philippine Development Plan.
Okay.
I said, I'm glad, although that's my view, no? I said, I'm glad that what was factored in the development plan is growth and investments and the likes. We do have to be concerned about our foreign remittances, which is about 35 and projected to be increased another 5% for 2023.
Okay.
That's good for us in the meantime. Okay. But to like our projections towards 2040, ambition 2040. It's a good 17 years away. And whether that source of revenue can continue is something that we have
That's the question mark.
Yeah, we have to be aware of. Because in my travel to other countries in the Middle East, I can see, the dynamics. What dynamics am I talking about? The demand or the oil price, the oil per se, is counter to all of this climate change. Okay. There's a restraint of using fuel-based fossil oil, and that's where the Middle East have their revenue in the past 30 years.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Now that's coming down, and I can see their countries are beginning to realize that the entitlement that they were giving before may not hold on. They just they hire a lot of foreign workers, in particular a lot of Filipinos. Okay? So this might change. This dynamic might change. You're beginning to see like Saudi Arabia. They now allow women to drive. Before, they're not allowed to drive. And sooner or later, you can see this thing being factored in. So it's important for us to realize that because we are a consumer-driven economy.
Okay.
No matter what we talk about, even the recessions that they're talking about in Western Europe and also North America, the impact to us is not that much.
Okay.
Because our export is, compared to the other countries, it's not really a key factor
in the economy,
economic pie. So that's one thing. And I mentioned that I hope the development plan really looked into the aspect of being more attractive. As a matter of fact, I use an analogy, which the country manager or country director of World Bank told me. I like what you said, because I said we have really in the past, even when I was president 6 years ago, and I'm president again, we have entertained a lot of visitors who come from all over the country. Itong term ko lang, we had Vietnam, India, Pakistan, Colombia, and then of course China, and then upcoming is the Koreans. So and having been traveling with the president this year for a couple of times, it's good that he's all out marketing our country. So people will say otherwise, but I said no, you need to really be there. And of course, our president is a lot more articulate.
So
I mean, I'm not saying anything, but more articulated. So
you're not saying who's not articulate. Why are you guarded? Why are you cautiously optimistic now?
let me answer that. Guarded because we know that on the power sector we're lacking.
Okay.
We have heard about the issue on our connectivity.
Okay.
And that's a fact.
Internet, yeah.
In the last 6
Internet power.
years, there's some improvement, but not as much as we'd like.
Okay.
Power, I'll be very honest with you, when we go out and being talking to the other businessmen, they're very courteous to us. They don't
Okay.
bring up that issue.
Okay.
Okay, because if they bring up that issue, wala. Talagang may issue tayo. No?
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
Wala
that
ka
they-
masasagot, ano?
Wala eh.
Yeah.
They can bring that paper that projecting forward. Sa tingin nila, mas maraming red or yellow alert. So those are the things that both government, well, in the private sector, should be able to look at ano ba yung comparative advantage natin.
Okay.
We're not going to go for power-intensive investment.
Industries, yeah.
Okay, but of course, they're doing it. So what are the comparative advantages that we have? The low-hanging fruit is tourism. Okay? And I was just going to add, when I say guarded, there are certain situations outside that's beyond our control.
External.
Yeah, externally. But I can see that just within our internal, wherein we have a bit of insight. One is that the present administration is continuing this build more better.
And the infrastructure.
So those are money that can generate more activities. Secondly, is the opening of schools.
Okay.
You have about 16 to 18 million. That would be now
Yeah.
adding more economic activities.
Yeah.
And the third, of course, I mentioned the travel and leisure.
Yeah.
So you can see that people are traveling all over the world.
Yeah.
Even for us Filipinos,
Yeah.
lately, maraming nag-travel sa abroad. So all of that, plus the fact that we have a strong fundamental on the remittances, I think we should do very well as far as numbers are concerned, no? Because our macroeconomic fundamentals is quite
Okay.
strong.
So we have fundamentals are strong, but we have legacy issues like power and connectivity.
Yeah.
So that's why you're guarded, okay?
Yes.
And then of course external. Why are you cautious?
Cautiously.
Yeah, why are you cautious
Well,
of
first of all, because COVID, I think, is still with us.
That's number one for you.
Number one. Second would be externalities. There are
Yeah.
many external factors
So similar to
affecting us.
yeah.
And third, there are still many things that we need to do. And since this administration is still in the initial stage, we are still, watching what would be next.
Okay.
We don't know. But there are many things that we should be doing. And if you ask us what is the number one that we are pushing, it's still ease of doing business.
Okay.
It's still a runaway in terms of concerns that our members have raised.
Okay.
That's why we are pushing for digitalization. And we're talking of, we hope that this digitalization would be interoperative, wherein many or most of the agencies of the government, especially those interfacing with front-face interfacing, should be already digitalized, and that there is an interoperability between them. Meaning, if you want to ask for a clearance,
Okay.
wherever you go, there would be kiosks there. You can go to any agency.
Yeah.
If I want to get a BIR clearance, can I get it as the SSS, for
Right.
example? Because the databases are all the same and they can access all these data points.
Yeah.
So we are really pushing for digitalization to that. Then we are, of the 8 recommendations that we have given, we have to address the education crisis, the high quality of health. We have trade because we haven't, I think, we're pushing for the RCEP, and it's not yet there.
Yeah, the
So
Regional
we are
Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Yeah.
pushing for trade agreements so that we can increase our market. We are pushing for upskilling. We are pushing for lifelong learnings and all those things, rule of law
Yeah.
being one of them too. So in short, we say we are cautiously optimistic because we are still on a wait and see of the movements on how all of this will be pursued. But I have read the PDP, plan. And it
That gives
seems
you good hope, some hope.
it gives you hope.
Yeah.
Because most of those that we were saying are actually there. So it's just
Okay.
a matter of implementation.
Okay.
So when we go back, we have to form, again, a group to see the implementation of this, because it's not just, you put it there.
Yeah.
It's just in paper.
Yeah.
And what's good in the plan actually is that they have metrics. So if our GDP is here, by the end of their term, it should be this. In fact, by 2025, I think they're saying we should already be in the middle, in the middle high income level. And then everything is doubled. So if the inflation rate now, for example, is, I think it's 5.4 or
Well, it's still 8%.
8%, then they will control it to 2 to 4. Or the income per capita is this, 3,000. By the end of the term, it will be $6,000 if it's $3,000. So those metrics, we should be able to track it through those metrics.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are you happy with what you're seeing from the government? Do you think we're on the right track?
I think we are on the
Okay.
right track.
Okay.
Yes. And what's good is that I think they are listening.
Okay. All
And
right.
one example of that would be when we were pushing for Maharlika. We were the first who objected to SSS and GSS
Yes.
being included, and they dropped it. So now let's see, because
They're still working on it. Yeah.
working on it in Senate.
Yeah.
I don't know what would be the
Yeah.
structure of that.
Regarding Maharlika, actually, it has morphed. Of course, I was.
You were in Davos when the president was selling it to
Secretary Congressman Joyce Salceda was one of the guests during her induction. So before that, he was I think he arrived early, so he was killing some time. And then I was there also, so we got to talk. And I said that at this point in time, it has morphed into something completely different from the original Maharlika Sovereign Fund. So I said, I'll just let the legislator work on it, because I've received requests for a group of, for an organization to write, to petition the senator, or to completely drop this. I said, I'm more patient. I'll let them run through.
And then you'll
make
comment
comments.
later.
Why now?
Premature.
Even at the very onset, when people are, I said, look, it's of course, we are. When this was suggested, people start comparing with other countries that have this sovereign fund. And in the past 5 years, even many of the financial experts were not able to come ahead because of the sudden war and everything. But I also pointed out, Indonesia started their sovereign wealth fund 2021.
During the
In the
pandemic.
midst of the pandemic and
Yeah.
everything. Primarily because they are resource rich, let's say,
Yeah.
may crudo. But I said,
Coal.
no matter what it is, it's really how it's managed.
Yeah.
And where the sourcing of fund would be. So those are areas of concern. But Atty. Baladad they listen.
Yeah.
There have been issues lately that the catastrophic insurance that they were putting forth. So Congressman Wilbert Lee requested me and my friend Mr. Ortiz for a hearing when it was captured in a video, and we voiced our concern, and so it was dropped. And lately, I don't know whether your newspaper has picked up PPAAO 4 2021, imposing a system of monitoring of containers,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So
The truckers are opposing it.
Yes.
Oo.
So we together with the stakeholders, the shippers, the truckers, the logistic, we had a press conference It was only last week in PITC. And I'm glad that after the discussion, they saw the merit of the point being raised by the private sector, which is added cost, added bureaucracy. We're happy also, we're relieved that a lot of government agencies are in support of the private sector's position. So this has been deferred indefinitely.
Yeah, but I think the issue there was smuggling, no? And you were talking about digitalization.
But
You know-
that was where that approach doesn't address the issue of smuggling.
It doesn't.
It doesn't at all.
Okay.
We're barking on the wrong tree.
Okay.
So, but digitalization, I'm all for it. That's why this afternoon we have a meeting with the BIR Commissioner, Jun Lumawi.
Yeah.
And that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. To what extent, on our digitalization of their work, to make it easy for the taxpayer.
Yeah.
We do hear a lot from our taxpayer that you talk about certain deadline, wala naman yung hindi kaya naman yung broadband, di ba? It died on them, and I said, you got to, it's easier said than done when you want to.
Yeah.
But the same of the small guys. That's why all of this talk about improving our ease of doing business is very crucial. And we see this firsthand because the small guys,
Yeah.
they take care of everything. They do not have they do not have an accounting for like Atty. to Baladad. Do it for them, di ba? Lahat na sila eh. Sila
If you can afford it.
sila kumuha ng compliance, all of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I said you got to look at the small guys when we want to improve that system. And that falls into the ease of doing business. And
Well, where do you start? Because Attorney Dick was saying digitalization. Where do you start? I mean, there's so many things to look at. Diba? Where do we begin?
It's well, the real aspect of this, it's not even on the technical side. Technical side,
Okay.
if you put the investment, if you do the capex, you can do it.
Okay.
But it's the human side.
Okay.
Meron naman sistema dyan, but if the one interpreting it or using it sees otherwise, and that's exactly what I said during that conference.
I guess, yeah, talking about ease of doing business in relation to tax, right? I guess
Yeah.
that's the discussion.
Yeah.
I think the first rule there is to remove discretion.
So
both
simplify.
on the taxpayer and on the tax administrator. So simplify, make it clear, and we have basically done that in the tax reform already.
Okay.
Make it equitable, make it fair. So
Yeah.
people would be willing, if they see that taxes are fair, then they would be voluntarily paying rather than cheating.
Right.
And that has already been also addressed.
Okay.
Now, procedure is something else.
Okay.
And I think they are trying still to simplify. There is now pending in Senate the ease of paying taxes. Then they are also working on taxpayer bill of rights. So these are being addressed. So for example, in VAT, they don't distinguish, their aim is not to distinguish the paying point for a good from a service.
Okay.
Because before, if it's a good, it should be based on sales invoice.
Okay.
If it's a service, it should be official receipt, meaning you have collected it already.
Okay.
So now they are making it just uniform one.
Okay.
And that's part of the simplification. So all those things they are doing now, I think they are, on the BIR side, they are still also pushing for a fully digitalized tax administration.
Okay.
I don't know what is the progress and what the level are they now, but there is that effort.
Okay.
And I hope that government agencies as well that are heavily interfacing with the public should adopt the same digitalization.
Yeah.
And I hope that eventually it will be like I call it a spine,
Okay.
where all their systems would be connected to
Okay.
the spine.
To one
Yeah.
main
And
system.
anybody can make access to all the databases that are already.
But there are definitely some issues, and this is one issue that will be taken up with the commissioner later on.
Yeah.
The establishment, when they give a senior discount,
Okay.
Yeah.
they're still charged with the whole value of the VAT.
Okay.
Na-discounted na pero yung VAT gusto nila na buong amount. So, there are issues that I said, the law may be there, and then subject to interpretation.
Oh, I think we should, we should raise that. But I think
I'm
that
gonna
one
raise
will
that.
be addressed when we shift already to official receipts.
Yes.
Everything will
yeah.
now be official receipts. So if there is discount, we don't receive that already,
Yeah,
and therefore it's not part.
That's-
Yeah, but that's a very good
That's where
point that you
I want to
raised, George.
let them be aware on what the small establishment are feeling.
Okay.
That's where you keep on talking about improving. Kami naman we're getting the shorter end. Di ba?
Yes.
So we have to elevate some of these issues.
Yeah.
But as a whole, when the new administration came in, kadalasan, ano mo 100 days? I said, forget about the 100 days.
Okay.
Gawin natin 1,000 days.
Okay.
3 years, because first of all, it's a new team that is put together.
Okay.
You're not yung mga cabinet secretaries. It's not that they've been working for the longest time.
Yeah.
It's like any basketball, diba?
Right.
So it's a new team.
Hindi pa naka-warm up.
Warm up, they get together and set the plans. Of course, it's the president who has that vision to give them that mandate. So I would be, that's why I say, let's be patient. Let's not be too much creating so much back noises.
Yeah. But you've been with the president on several of his trips, or at least two. I think you were in Davos. You were also in China.
I was actually with him in Cambodia,
Okay,
Thailand,
for the ASEAN,
United
APEC.
States,
Okay.
UN, New York,
Yeah.
and then China.
Okay.
I backed off from
And the backed up from Davos. You were.
and also in Brazil.
Yes. Okay.
Because it's such a long flight, and the time. That's why I admired. The first couple, no? And I would include our former president and speaker,
L'Oreal.
to travel that far, in a day and a half.
Yeah.
Of course, nasa first class sila.
Yeah.
For joining, they actually allocated a business class for me.
Okay.
To the Brazil flight. In Barcelona, and I said, when I come back, I have some commitments here. Baka ma-jet lag pa ako eh.
Yeah,
Hindi able to function well, so I declined. But the China, I had to go. They're happy that, somebody in the business side.
Yeah.
There's a lot backed out because of the concern.
The
protocol.
COVID. Yeah. The COVID protocol.
was
Yeah.
Quite tough. I was telling the ambassador last night of China, he's not even aware. I said, you know how many times we get tested? Of course, we're just segue a bit. It's not important. But I was in Dubai,
Okay.
and they were already saying, you need, within 48 hours, 2 PCR tests.
2 PCR tests.
2 PCR tests. And I said,
Why 2?
I'm flying from Dubai to Manila on the January 1st. How am I
Okay.
going to do it in that time?
Yeah.
So I had one in Dubai. I requested December 31st. It's also a holiday there.
Yeah.
Yung mga clinic nila, sarado rin. And
Yeah.
it's good, I talked to the concierge, and we'll take care of it. They got somebody from the hospital to do hotel service. Mas mahal, but I still get it. But I did not get my results right away. So it's only when I arrived.
Yeah, but China, it's interesting because there was a lot of, I think, optimism about that trip, and there was a lot of commitments made to the Philippines. I think 22 billion. But of course, you see in the news today, we have, of course, our banner headline. The U.S. Defense Secretary is here. There are new bases. I mean, what's your take? I mean, because you were there, right? What was the expectation when you met, and then how do you think they're reacting now to what's going on?
I was looked into the 3 roundtable discussion, which is
Okay.
basically agriculture,
Yeah.
infrastructure, and industries.
Okay.
But on the private and political side of it,
Yeah.
So, but they were actually, even before the president went to China, this issue was being floated already.
Okay.
That, if you notice lately, this administration of Biden, a lot more top government officials visited the Philippines.
Yeah.
The vice president was here.
Kamala Harris,
the deputy minister, Madam Sherman was here.
Yes.
A lot. Marami. So something's in the work.
Yeah, but the question is how because you mentioned geopolitics, right? And you mentioned, both of you mentioned external headwinds. How much of a headwind is the geopolitical issue? Is that something that business should be concerned about, or is it purely political and it doesn't impact you at all?
Of course it does.
It does.
We're trying to attract more investments. For the previous administration, all the effort was to attract investment coming from, or those to diversify their investment because of the U.S.-China tariff situation. So still, same thing, we're still attracting, but of course we also want U.S. investment to come here.
Okay.
But I have an operation in the IT.
Yes.
Philippines is one of the biggest in the BPO. And brands, many companies carry it, and my company, we carry the U.S. brand, Dell, HP, whatever. And I was sharing my thoughts with Her Excellency Ambassador Mary Kay Los Carlson.
Yes, the U.S. ambassador.
I said, we're one of the biggest consumer of U.S. brand, but then you have your factories in Malaysia and Singapore. Why not here? I said, why not here? I mean, if you want to support the country in that investment side, I said, you have a ready market. But on the side, they're concerned about the power issue. Okay, and I can blame them. So, but it can be looked into. What I'm saying that if a major investment would come and they need it, there are certain areas that have excess power. We have an imbalance in power right now. Okay, the best base load, mas malaki dito sa South, Visayas, but the usage like Western Visayas, kulang sila ng kuryente. And we need to beef up on the grid. Okay, national grid really need to beef up to sort of balance the requirement. So,
but how will that U.S.-China
rattling is something that we try to avoid.
Yeah.
We don't want to be put in a place that you have to be with me, or if not. We have to be neutral in a way. And I've been asked questions regarding this. I said, as long as the country treats us fairly, and with respect, they're our friends because we can do business. If a country would put us in a place where we're the puppet, of course we don't want that.
Yeah.
So this thing is bigger than our say, our take. But I'm just hoping that we don't want to be caught in this saber rattling.
What about you, Attorney Dick? What's your take? Does it come up in your conversation with your members or your clients? I mean, is that a concern at all,
Not
or?
officially, but there are always questions. Where are we in? Are we here or are we there?
Okay.
And especially so, I think that.
Why would it matter if we're there or we're here or with one or the other?
Whether you like it or not, it will have an impact on business.
Okay.
And to think that China, I think, is our #1 trade partner.
Yes.
Yeah, right now. So it.
But do you think that China is giving us, well, on that side, are we getting the respect? And then on the U.S. side, are we being treated with equally, or are we a puppet? As you said.
It's a tough balancing act.
Yeah.
And we have to be realistic enough that sometimes, not that we're getting that much from China, but sometimes in the past, we're not given the kind of support from U.S.
Okay.
You look at some of the other ASEAN countries that may not be in their ecosystem, but they are highly supported.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it's all their fault. It's also sometimes about us.
Yeah.
Now we make ourselves attractive.
Yeah.
So like what was said, trade, everything, you look at it, the biggest trade is really with China.
You mentioned RCEP a while ago. Why is that important?
When you are in this trade agreements, like an RCEP, it would be in the nature of the trade agreement. You open up yourselves to a bigger market.
Okay.
That's why we are pushing for that.
Yeah.
There are, though, some concerns about whether it would affect certain sectors, and we would lose our competitiveness in certain sectors. For example, they're talking about agriculture.
Mm.
Would we be able to compete under that setup or not?
Mm. But as you said, we need to look for a competitive advantage,
Yeah.
right?
On that RCEP, we're for it also. Although we have members in the agri sectors.
Right,
So we
right.
listen to them.
Yeah.
And we also look at it from the point. Even prior to the RCEP, RCEP has about 7 countries. Not all has gone on board. No? Like India did not. Well, India is not part of us.
Yeah.
But among the ASEAN countries, our trade with them is halos
Small.
tax, walang duty free na.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the fear of importations of agri products, it's happening.
yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah. So there's no reason to be concerned.
There's no reason to be concerned.
Yeah.
I'm more proactive, and I mentioned this during the planning, of NEDA.
Yeah.
I said, open up our agriculture.
Yeah.
If we're going to attract foreign investment to provide jobs, agri sector is one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that solves food security.
And that's
Exactly.
what food
Yeah.
security. And then the hard-earned dollars, we don't have to use it for importation.
Right.
So there are a lot that we should look into. Our legislators should just be able to deal with that issue on patrimonial rights. Sometimes that is carried a bit too far to the disadvantage of the consumer. There are certain sectors, let me put it like certain sectors that have farmers, processors, everything. About 80,000 people. The consumer is 110 million.
Wow.
So you should realize, if they're overly protected, the consumer is the one that suffers. Look at the prices of our many of our agri items. It has been much higher, even compared to developed countries.
Let me shift a moment. I saw you had a video shown during VP Sara's presentation the other day about her report on basic education. Of course, all of these things are related, right? You mentioned also the demographic sweet spot that Dr. Diop was praising us about. What's the concern there? Because I mean, it affects you guys directly, right? I mean, the quality of the graduates we have directly impact your performance. So what's the problem now?
Well, as of now, the industry do not have the absorptive power of the new workforce being introduced,
Yeah.
which is about 1 million or 1.2 million
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
Although we have the K-12,
Yeah.
but the K-12 is still because I'm part of Philippine Business for Education.
Okay.
So the K-12 percentage of K-12 graduates getting a job is still not very
Still
high.
low.
Still
Yeah.
low.
Yeah.
Now, again, that's a question of supply and demand.
Okay.
If you can hire somebody who has a college degree compared to a K-12, of course you opt for the college degree.
Yeah.
And that's something that in the discussion of the bed, I said, look, the Filipino families usually, because the parents do not have a college diploma, so they want that college diploma.
Okay.
So now you have to tweak the institution, the college or universities, to have skill sets that they learn from the university and they get a diploma. Okay? Might as well, right? Rather than, if naka-tech mo ka, walang diploma. In university, yung diploma. Yung diploma doesn't provide you a job.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. So I think you have to work with schools and tweak our system so that even if they were to take some skills development in the universities, they have a diploma. Otherwise, we talk about mismatch.
Yeah, the job mismatch, yeah.
But in addition to that, George,
Yes.
there is mismatch, right? So
Yeah.
there should be more involvement of the industries.
Yes.
Right?
And the
so
training is...
in certain instances, they're looking at after their graduation in high school or K-12, would there be industries that will be
That
willing
can absorb
to
them.
Co-train, yes.
To
Co-train.
them.
Co-train, yeah.
So, like for example, somebody was talking to me about 300,000 students of the 4Ps
Okay.
that are now graduating from the K-12.
Okay.
So where will they put these 300 students?
Okay.
And then so they were looking for companies that can absorb them,
yeah.
co-train them.
Right. But are companies willing to do that? Because that's that would be a cost,
No,
right?
the company definitely, again, they're concerned, no, that this new workforce will be productive for them.
Okay.
And of course, when you hire somebody, you put money in training them, you must have a market.
Okay.
So on the market side, we're also being quite challenged. And this is
Okay.
what I was telling you. Our ASEAN are not, countries are not.
Then they're not standing still. Oh.
You know, when we were in Thailand, I brought this figure to to President BBM because we were having a roundtable discussion. I said, you know, Mr. President, Thailand is not a Muslim country, but they export $38 billion of halal. Before the President was, after that he repeated what I said.
Okay.
And I said, it's quite, that's why we do have a lot of homework to do. When a country like Thailand can export that, we're trying to break into that.
Yeah.
Mas malaki yung Muslim population natin dito.
Cases sa Thailand, yeah.
We're having. That's why all of this, when you look at it, it's really to support both from the government. We keep on saying the ease of doing business.
What happened to those 4P graduates? What ended up happening, or what was the?
That's the problem now.
there's no solution. Yeah.
So we're trying to look for industries that can
Yes,
absorb
can
them.
absorb
And they're
them.
saying that they are very good, supposedly, candidates for those in technology
Okay.
because they can be
Yeah.
easily trained. And you don't need a college graduate
Okay.
The,
to do all this.
I share my thoughts with Secretary R.C. Balisacan and also Secretary Fred Pascual. I said we should be industry focused.
Okay.
That's linking up like Tesla and everything.
Okay.
We should ask people who has in mind of relocating some of their operations in the Philippines.
Okay.
And then we should train. We should incentivize for them to adopt their training.
So we should be more focused.
Select focus, like Germany. You want
Yeah.
you want boss, halimbawa.
Right,
You want
right.
some company.
Right.
We talk to them. What are skills you need? We're willing to put up and incentivize
Right. So
their training.
what industry do you think is appropriate for the Philippines? Ano yung bagay sa atin? What's the
Lot. You know,
We are easily
machining.
trainable.
We are trainable.
We are trainable.
We have so many Filipinos working abroad.
Okay.
And that's a thought that I sent to a POEA.
Okay.
I said, you have so many Filipinos working abroad. Dapat, i-catalog mo yung experience nila.
Okay.
You have to share that with the industry.
So they know who's available
So who's available,
in the labor pool.
and who has
Ano?
that
Okay.
background, and the industry can tap them.
Right.
Okay, so, you know, we have POE, of course, mas marami dyan sa related to shipping.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that also, I know of companies, but I've factories making synthetic leather here.
You're into everything. Your computer, synthetic leather. You're into a lot of businesses.
My business.
The commissioner is listening.
And they were telling me because one time,
Di ba, andyan naman kayo, attorney,
Oh,
para
the-
to...
one of the issues was, you know, remember during the 1990, we had a serious problem with power.
yes.
And this is part
Brownouts, yeah.
I tell even the former Secretary of Energy, I caught Petilla, and then recently the Popo, I said, you know, biro mo, during the 90s, ang investment namin, pumunta sa generator, hindi sa productive machinery. Because mapower. So we admittedly, we lag behind. The other countries are putting investment in newer equipments. See? So that's why, as far as
Actually, energy is very important.
very, very important.
And if you look, and they're pushing now for renewable energy.
Okay.
The
You seem
renewable energy is costly. Huh?
you seem hesitant, George.
No,
ano?
because
It's costly for
it's costly. And there might be, you know, you remember all the hype about ethanol,
Yes.
but you can put it part of the gasoline. Yeah. But then what happened? It has that backlash because food stuff became more
It
expensive.
became competitive, yeah.
Okay. So I'm open for any source of energy that gives us a competitive edge. I don't want to follow the trap when developed countries are saying, no, 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 you cannot do that. Eh, yung sa carbon footprint, yung sa atin, maliit lang.
Yeah.
We have the smallest. Why should we toe the line and sort of handcuff ourselves in this aspect? If we do that, our cost of power will be high. Will not be competitive. Our base load using coal is one of the lowest. Okay? So I'm Filipino, of course. Me is Philippine come first. I will not toe the line on this aspect to our disadvantage. The World Bank came to see me many years ago. I said only one thing. We are for that. Okay.
Attorney,
But
yeah,
give us the technology free of charge.
yeah.
They still want us to buy equipment from them at very expensive. I said, we are part of the world's community. Give it to us for free.
Yeah. Just going back on that demographic dividend. I mean, you have the unique perspective of being a woman and a mother, di ba, and your children are successful. What should be done in the education sector to be as successful as we're talking about your kids. They're doing impressive things. But from that perspective, what can be done? I mean, sayang naman kasi all of the young Filipinos, right?
I think it's not on training what area you will be in.
Okay.
It's about self-discipline.
Okay.
Women are very good in managing,
Okay.
in multitasking and managing the stress, managing time, etc. And I think if they just focus and they want something and they want to do it,
Yeah.
they can do it.
Yeah. You mentioned, local industries and, there's this guy, I think in the north, developing Nipa Hall. We have these little success stories, but we never see them scale. What can be done?
Of course, they have to be given more support.
Yeah.
We talked about the agri sector being a key sector that needs to be
Yeah, but you're talking about ease of doing business then earlier, di ba? And,
ease of doing business really, it's
It's number one.
number one, and they have to deal it in such a way that before we have the Philippine Commission on Competitiveness, right? Under the rules, right?
yes.
And we should still at least practice some of the guidelines wherein if any local government or even national government, if you want to introduce a new law or compliance, you look back and take out two. Alam mo, dito sa atin, it's all archaic, nandun pa.
Yes.
And it's not been reviewed. And they can hit you with that
Yeah.
because it's not updated. Okay?
Although what's good is we now have the ARPA. So
The anti-red
Yes,
tape.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
We have the ARTA.
although they're telling us that they don't have adequate funds.
Yes, yes.
It's under budgeted.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Well, the ARTA, of course, now is under Atty. Nes Perez.
Yeah.
Even before the Director General, Jeremy Benedicta,
Yeah.
we work very closely. PCCI.
Yeah, Attorney Belica used to writes for the paper.
Yeah.
But you guys do business across the region, right? And I know we're not going to be like Singapore, right? Because Singapore is so far ahead in terms of ease of doing business. Where do we compare? Are we like Vietnam, or is Vietnam better than us now? Are we like Thailand, or is Thailand much better now?
During the NERA meeting, I cited some figure.
Okay.
Just for comparison. Of course, talking about Singapore. They rank number 2.
Number 2.
Ease of doing business. Yeah.
Who's number 1?
Number 1, I think, is European country.
Okay. In the world. Okay.
In the world.
Yeah.
Malaysia, Thailand, they are in the mid-20s.
Okay.
Surprisingly. Indonesia is about 70.
Okay.
We actually improved our ranking
Okay.
in 2021.
Okay.
After we complain.
Yes. from 134, naging 95.
Okay. That's a big jump. Yeah.
But if you look at it, we're still at the lower.
We're still
diba?
behind Indonesia at 70.
And that in itself also reflects on the amount of investments.
Okay.
Okay. Singapore, during their peak, they get about 50 billion. investment dollars. 2021, I think they got 30 billion. Vietnam, Malaysia, they're all in the double digits,
Yeah.
while Taiwan was in single digits.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that alone, it tells
Yeah.
us that we have so much room to
Yeah.
move forward. And I always look at, when I say low-hanging fruits, what can really boost up, give away?
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this one time. Thailand has 40 million tourists.
Yes, a year, yeah.
We had a hard time getting to 10 million.
Yeah.
Our lands are just as beautiful, the scenic.
Yeah.
And if you talk about the people, as far as talent and beauties, nobody can compare to Filipinos. Yeah. Nobody can.
Obviously.
If only we can fix the piece of doing business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have already fixed the rest. We have opened up some industries. The PSA has already opened up sectors that used to be limited to Filipinos. That should be a big thing.
Yeah, yeah.
We have the retail trade. It's open also 100%. We also have this foreign investment. So in short, all the reforms were already done in the past administration, opening up, opportunities for investment.
But you were asking earlier, where do we start? I mean, what specific things you would like to see? I mean, if we're looking at the doables, say, for 2023, what would be a doable thing for
The doable
2023?
thing for me would be to pick up from where the last administration opened. So they have opened up opportunities. In fact, the tax reform is a big thing itself. It used to be, when we talk about concerns, now it always lands in the top 3. Now you don't see taxation anymore being in the top 10. So in short, there's a big thing that happened because of that.
Because of the tax reforms, yeah.
Then we have, as I said, the Public Service Act that opened
Yeah.
up sectors, not limited to Filipinos anymore.
Yeah.
So from there, you should pick up from there and then try to already, investment should already be flowing in. And we have to fix that ease of doing business.
Yeah.
I think we should already be,
the perception, that's why I was seated beside Secretary Christine Frasco.
Yeah, the tourism secretary.
Yes.
Yes. And I shared again with some of my thoughts. I said, Secretary, you have to look two things, if you're foreigner traveling. The connectivity is very important.
Yes.
We travel ourselves,
Yes.
all over the place. You have fast internet. You can access, you can be linked to your home office. Here we do not. Okay, connectivity is one. Second, I said you have to look into the law enforcer. You got to have that project that is safe in
Yeah.
the Philippines. And the law enforcer must be looked into it by barangay, whatever level. Because we have to project that it's safe to be in the Philippines. Okay? And then accessible by roads. And then I said, sometimes we choose a theme of a country, but one thing I noticed that we are known for music.
Music, okay.
Diba? Then, of course, wow is nice thing, but I said, can we not really have a subset of promoting our country's music?
I agree.
Diba?
We should have, not that. We should have a national brand.
Yeah.
A national brand.
A national
And
brand.
I said, look, people go all over the world. Pag nasa bar, Filipino mga singers.
Yes, yeah.
If you see the American Got Talent or whatever, when the
They're
judge
Filipinos,
asks,
yeah.
"Are you Filipino?" Immediately, their minds, you're going to be a good singer. And I told the secretary, I said, I think maybe you can have a subset of promoting a country. One time, it's my apo going gaga over to Korea.
Yeah, the K-pop, no. Yeah.
And it gives me a sour feeling. So that's where we should be.
But
Yeah.
you know what? Talking about Korean, what they do pala is that 2% of their budget
It's to the creative industry.
a subsidy for the industry.
You know when that happened? I was talking to Korean. During the Asian contagion, baksak ang economy.
Okay.
It was gloomy for all the people.
Yeah.
So one of the ministry decided, we cannot be like that. So we should try to give them something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Entertainment. but it's handled very professionally. I was in a forum,
Oh.
and he was sharing his idea that this thing did not just happen because these people have talent. It's really well organized, well
Yes.
promoted.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an industry.
And if you look at it, it's a way for them to promote their culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, their food, their culture,
Everything.
everything.
In
And they
in
were so successful.
In the
Yeah.
what do you call it? I don't watch it, but my wife watches it.
Telenovela.
Yeah, okay.
I watch it.
You watch it, right?
Now, my wife watches the Korean.
Everything. and I also shared this with the actually even with Bernie Puyat. I said we got to create stories
Yeah.
of various regions. Sino mga ano natin, mga hero, and create stories. I said when I go visit abroad, they tell me something. I don't validate naman whether it's true or not. But
Yeah.
it's a story nevertheless.
But speaking of tourism, since you brought up Thailand and talking to Secretary Vasco, a simple thing or a simple problem that I'm surprised about. I'm surprised hearing about this, the visa issues. I mean, it seems like our neighboring countries have done a lot to open up their economies, waive the visa requirements. Is that something that you've been hearing also from your?
Well, actually, on the visa side, if it's
Yeah.
ASEAN, walang problema.
No, yeah.
Okay, but
For like
but for
Europeans,
Europeans,
Chinese,
like,
Indians.
The only country we go visit without a visa is Israel.
Yes.
We can go there.
Yeah.
Any Filipinos can go there
Yeah.
without a visa.
Yeah.
And like I just entertained the Russian Chamber of Commerce 2 days ago, and that was one of the issues I brought up. I said, you should have more Russian visiting us. And when I mentioned that, sabi na, it's true. Because of they're getting a negative reception in Europe.
Yeah.
So they're thinking of coming to the Philippines. Okay? And I said, you don't need a visa. The Russians, they don't need a visa. But
They don't
on
need
the
a
other
visa
side,
to come
they don't need a visa. Here.
to come
Yes.
here. No
Really?
visa, really? I didn't know
They
that.
don't need a
I
visa.
don't know that.
But
Okay.
on the other side, I told the Russian chamber, Platinov, I said, Mr. President, but on our side, getting your visa is quite challenging. And we have lots of Filipinos going to Russia. But
And that's why President Duterte was saying before that if they ask us for visa, we should also ask visa.
Ask visa from
But is that something that will help maybe attract not only tourists but also foreign investors? And particularly outside, I'm talking about outside of ASEAN. Because I think from the Italian chamber was telling us, one of the problems that they encountered is if they come from Italy to Asia, they're not going to go to just one country, right? They want to go to several countries. Some of them, I think, allow visa on entry, but we require, for them to secure a visa from our embassy. I don't know. Is that something that?
that's something that has to be worked on. It has to be worked on, definitely.
Because of the other countries in the region, we were trying to form one community, one
Yeah,
block, right?
yeah.
Wherein inside this block, everything, even movement of people is free.
Yeah.
And if the others are already granting visa free, then I think that's
Yeah.
something that
It's,
I think Thailand is the one leading in that. But
Yeah.
Thailand is just maybe that's why they have 40 million tourists.
Well,
Yeah.
again, it's if you have a good digital platform.
That's the key.
Okay, that's the key. At the same time, you should think, of course, we should make it easy for people to come.
Yeah.
Good. But on our side naman, going abroad, they do have the perception that makaroon ng PNT
Dito.
dito, papunta
Oh,
abroad.
oh.
And,
Okay.
and they worry about that.
That's why in Japan, right?
Yes.
I think there's an issue
Diba?
in Japan.
The issue
They
na-
open up and then
Yeah,
they
if you
stop
go
it.
there,
Because of the
So,
illegal,
it's a question like who this economist used to say. If you talk about China, you talk about them not being free. Every year, about 130 million of them
go outside. Yeah.
Everybody came back. wala nag-TNT.
Yeah. Well, that's a,
Digitalization
but that's a
should
good
be
point. I mean,
number one.
Yeah.
they have hundreds of millions of outbound tourists. Is it time to maybe visit visa upon arrival, or is that?
Yeah. I mean, that's why the digital is very important. And and that's also really linked up to the security issue.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about visitors coming to our region, would want to go around the region, then
Yeah.
perhaps there are many tourists in Vietnam, in Thailand, then perhaps we can also capture that.
Nobody's talking about that. Maybe a Shenzhen visa for ASEAN.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
What do you think? First time we're.
We are working on an
Yeah.
Asian economic community, the integration of it as an
Yeah.
economic group.
Yeah.
And part of that would be free movement of people. And
Yeah.
maybe that will include tourists.
Yeah.
That's something to really think.
Do you guys hold the APEC business travel card? Is that?
Well, Epic Business Card is a set of nations, no? That's part
Yeah.
that gives you that privilege.
Do you get visa-free entry to the
Well,
APEC?
before there used to, I mean, at least my Visa card, in my Epic card is almost 30 countries. Okay,
Okay.
but now they're cherry picking. Now it's online. Before they issue a card and may expiry date.
I see.
The expiry date is based on your passport date,
I see.
but now it's online.
Okay.
You key in your code, and it will give you a facsimile of the card.
Okay.
And then the number, the countries that stated there.
Okay.
So itong mga bansa, it's not permanent anymore.
I see. Okay.
It's not permanent.
They're restricting now, no?
They're restricting now.
Oh.
At least now I have Russia, Mexico, Peru, Chile. Those are part of APEC. Of course, ASEAN, no problem.
Right.
Australia and New Zealand, sama rin.
Well, I know you guys are very busy, but maybe before we go, can you give us like maybe your final thoughts? The final question: what would you like to see from this government this year? And just what's your wish list for 2023?
My wish list is that the government really look at the direction of our country's growth.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay.
The numbers may be good, primarily because of certain reasons like consumer driven.
Okay.
But let's be realistic.
Don't get complacent, huh?
Don't pat ourselves in the back too
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still having jobless
Yeah.
very high, and as I said in our discussion, education is one, agri is one, okay, and investment is one. I'm hopeful. I mean, as president of PCCI, I do my role. I'm accompanying the government and talking to businessmen. We're very open about sharing our own concern, but to let them see that there's really a big advantage, especially for European countries. They're aging. Okay? We're young. So I share with them that they should look, horizon about 10 years, but you have to come now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
MAP.
I have a very short expectation,
Okay.
but very difficult. I
Okay.
think.
All right.
And this is not just for people in government, but everybody else, which is a higher sense of nationalism.
Okay.
Which means we have to let go or sacrifice our personal interests for common good.
Okay.
So that's it.
Well, Attorney Dick, Sir George, thank you very much for your time, and please keep us in mind when you guys, I know you're never free, but when you're free again, maybe we can invite you back, see how the Philippines is progressing this year. Thank you again, and it's good to see you.